I did something that I've always wanted to do because I'm a dork, and I was a massive aviation dork. And surprise, folks, Yoel is my flight instructor, and I am, as of last Christmas, a private pilot licensed.
Congratulations. Absolutely
because
incredible.
of Yoel.
That's not because of you. Because of you. But I
Oh,
appreciate
no,
it.
you taught me everything.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So you're look at that. So you're a pilot on top of all that.
I am now officially
a pilot.
licensed private pilot.
That's incredible. Did you think you'd ever say those words?
Actually, no.
When was the first, how long ago did you start thinking I'll say those words, like in your life?
It's still sinking in, to be fair.
Whoa.
And in fact, the best part about it, and which is another best part about your training and whatnot, is I have many friends who have done this and everything, and they are hesitant to like fly out and everything. But I was like, no, I got this license for a reason. And I mean, you always crack up every time I tell you, like, I'm going up with a friend here and everything. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm not going to go through all of this time and expense for not using it.
I think,
And that was part of your training too, which was really, really kind of the best part, because you really emphasized that. And like, that was what I wanted to do.
yeah.
And I've been going wild, just bringing my friends places.
Just go and play. You just had
including
lunch the other day.
Welber.
Yeah. Take it. It was you who told me about a friend of yours who became a pilot, private pilot, and she was afraid to fly on her own.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Well, specifically with the passenger and that stress and everything. And that was another thing that was great about our training too, was, I don't know. Maybe I'm misspeaking because I only have one experience, but the willingness on your end, like when we would have when my mom would fly back seat and everything, those were steps that were exciting because we got to actually do it, but also it was part of my learning too, and because like stress level, like if you go from just only flying with an instructor, check ride, and then bang, passenger, like that's weird. But I got to cross that boundary in my training, knowing that I could count on you because you're in the right seat. And it was like, it made that transition easier. So when it came time to, I passed my check ride and I'm licensed now, I was like, yeah, I'm going up with my friend tomorrow. No problem. Let's go.
and you've done that many times since you passed the...
briefing all of this, no problem. Like, at one point with the amount of people we flew in the back seat, like I was totally used to it. So it was like comfortable for me. I really enjoyed that aspect because, everything in aviation should be those baby steps.
100%. One of my biggest goals as a flight instructor, and I try my very hardest with every one of my students. Obviously, you can't get them all, but one of my biggest goals is to try and make as many as I can of my students' firsts together with me in the airplane.
Yeah.
Again, I can't get them all, and obviously there'll be many firsts that people will experience on their own, which it should be. It's part of life. But as a flight instructor, I think and try, I make it a big point of mine. How can I make many different types of firsts of my students to be with me in the plane, so the next time they experience it, it's their second.
Familiar.
It's not their first, it's their second.
Couldn't agree more.
And that's it sounds
with
like
the sole exception of my 150 cross country solo.
That's right, we did, but that's the opposite. That's where I want to prove to you that you can not only fly places, but
you done proved it. And well, if it makes you feel better, on Sunday, my buddy who I'm bringing up, who, oh, by the way, is a studio owner of Boulevard Recording, Clay Blair, great friend. Just in Hollywood.
Okay.
And but he's actually he was apparently a private pilot, but he's not current by like many years. He hasn't flown for a long time, but he even was instrument rated, and so he's enjoying like the saga.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been talking just the saga and whatnot, but yeah, I'm gonna take him up and on Sunday go to Mojave.
Love
They've
it.
got a great restaurant there, and Mojave was one of my. This will be the second time going. First time I went was when I went in cold because of crazy Yoel on my 150 cross country solo requirement.
Yes. What would you say as a student pilot, just because we're talking about the subject, what did that going on that 100, the 3 different airports, flying 150 miles to places that you and I have never flown with together? And I intentionally wanted you to do that because part of what I believe flight training should be, before I set you free, is for you to walk away knowing that you can fly anywhere as long as you know how to be a pilot. As long as you have, what'd you take away from that experience more than anything?
It was funny because what I took away is exactly what you wanted to have happen and what we all know, which is confidence building. But the funny part about it was like the amount of preparation that I especially put into it because of the demands and whatnot, and executing it, even recording it on my GoPro, and I still watch it to this day, every single aspect. And it was like, for lack of a better term, extremely expected confidence building.
It's and that's so important.
I think probably some of the most fun parts of like my GoPro video of recording myself, and I was recording all the instruments too, like, and ATC, just from it was an invaluable tool because you do a flight and you can sit home and watch your video, and without the stress of flying, nitpick things that go right and things that go slightly wrong. And that's how you get better. And, but definitely on that flight, since it was so long, I think some of the funniest shit to me was what apparently I say to myself when I'm alone in a plane for a long time. I think the classic statement I remember from the video was, at one point I'm like on like halfway through getting to Mojave, and I'm looking outside, like, just getting vectored by ATC, and I'm looking outside. Now it's turning into desert, and I'm like, well, Eric, you're alone in a plane flying to the middle of the desert. You're fucking crazy.
I feel you saying that.
Yeah.
I could totally picture
like it totally came out like, and I only saw it on the video after. I was like, huh. Apparently
Just slipped out of your mouth.
I talked to myself.
I love it. That's incredible.